The cold bathroom tile against my cheek. The bitter taste of the pills. Her pills. The muffled sound of Jin in the next room, counting the money he'd get from my death. That was supposed to be the end. So when the sickly sweet scent of lavender fabric softener, my mother's favorite, fills my nose, and I blink up at the familiar hated canopy of my childhood bed, my first thought isn't how. It's war. I'm 15 again. 3 years before they destroy me. 3 years before my own mother shoves those pills down my throat and my brother cashes in on my silence. The memory of that final, suffocating darkness is still too close, too real. But so is the sound of Jin's footsteps padding down the hall towards my door, heavy, confident. Just like I remember from this exact morning. The morning he first sold my piano, the first nail in my coffin. Ice doesn't just run through my veins, it is my veins. He thinks he's coming to break a little girl's heart over a piano. He has no idea he's walking into a reckoning. This time, they won't win. This time, I'm ready for them. The door creaks open. Jin. His face, a carefully constructed mask of brotherly concern. Behind him, our parents. Mother, with that slight, almost imperceptible nod of approval that always signaled her complicity. Father, oblivious, as always. "Luna, honey," Jin begins, his voice dripping with false sympathy. "Mom, Dad, and I were talking, and we think it's best if you focus on your studies for a while. All this piano playing, it's becoming a distraction." I watch them. I watch Mother's lips purse in that way that means, "This is for your own good, dear. Now be a good girl and accept it." I watch Father shuffle his feet, already looking for an escape. And Jin, the golden boy, the one who could do no wrong, watches me with a predatory gleam in his eyes, the same one he had when he pocketed the cash from the pawn shop, leaving me with nothing but broken promises and a hollow space in my room. And I catalog every twitch, every shift in weight, every subtle tightening around their eyes. The micro expressions of manipulation I was too young, too trusting, too broken to decipher before. Now they're as clear as sheet music. Jin walks towards my upright piano, the one my grandfather saved for months to buy me. His fingers, clumsy and disrespectful, touch the keys. A discordant clang echoes in the small room, and with it, a flood of visceral memories. The scholarship rejection letter, arriving just days after my supposed nervous breakdown. The pills, prescribed by Mother's compliant doctor. Their dosage steadily increasing, making my fingers tremble, making the notes blur, making the music slip away from me. The final night, the taste of bitter powder on my tongue, the cold dread as I realized these weren't meant to calm me. They were meant to silence me, to erase the part of me that threatened Jin's preeminence. The memory of my death. It wasn't suicide. Everyone believed it was. Tragic, they'd whispered. Such a fragile girl. No, it was murder. A deliberate overdose, orchestrated by my own mother. She couldn't bear it, couldn't stand a daughter who might outshine her precious, gambling-addicted son. I see it all, her hand forcing the pills down my throat, her soothing words a venomous lullaby. And Jin. I remember Jin in the hazy periphery of my fading consciousness, counting a wad of cash in the living room, the muffled sounds of a late-night poker game on his laptop while I lay dying on the cold bathroom floor. The memory crystallizes my resolve. It forges it into something hard and sharp within me. Jin turns from the piano, a triumphant, sickeningly sweet smile on his face. "I've found a buyer, Luna, a good price. It'll help with family expenses." He glances at our parents, who beam with pride at his apparent maturity, his sacrifice. I meet my own gaze in the polished, dark wood of the piano's surface. The girl reflected there isn't the broken, bewildered child from my past life. Her eyes are cold, clear, and calculating. This is a player who knows all the rules of the game. This time, the symphony will be mine to conduct, and it will be a requiem for their sins. I let a single tear trace a path down my cheek, a perfect imitation of the devastated younger sister. "Oh, Jin," I whisper, my voice trembling with feigned heartbreak. "My piano? He rushes to my side, enveloping me in a hug that feels like a viper's coil. I know, Lou. I know it's hard, but it's for the best. You'll see. Our parents coo their approval. Such a difficult sacrifice for you to make, Jin, Mother says, stroking his arm. Luna, you need to understand how much your brother does for this family. I nod meekly, burying my face in Jin's shoulder to hide the cold fury in my eyes. As they load the piano into the buyer's truck, I watch. I memorize the license plate, the company name on the side of the vehicle. I note the fleeting look of relief on Jin's face. Relief that he's bought himself another week. Another reprieve from the loan sharks that are undoubtedly breathing down his neck. He thinks he's won. He has no idea the game has just begun. For the next few days, I am the ghost of my former self. I drift through the house, quiet and seemingly broken. Jin, emboldened by my apparent submission, becomes careless. It's easy to follow him. His patterns are so predictable. The furtive phone calls, the late-night excursions. I trail him to the dimly lit, smoke-filled back rooms of illicit poker dens. My phone, a cheap model from this timeline, becomes my weapon. Photos of him at the tables, faces of his associates, snippets of conversations about markers and mounting debts. Evidence. At home, I observe Mother. Her internet search history is a chilling echo of the past. Adolescent behavioral medications. Signs of teenage instability. Residential treatment programs for troubled youth. She's already laying the groundwork for my second breakdown. This time I'll be ready. My small savings account. In my past life, Jin found it, emptied it within 2 weeks of the piano sale. Borrowed it, Lou. Promise I'll pay you back, he'd said with that charming, disarming grin. He never did. This time I'm one step ahead. The day after the piano is gone, I withdraw every last cent. Not much, but enough. With the help of Miss Evans, my music theory teacher, one of the few adults who ever genuinely saw me, I open a new account at a different bank, one Jin doesn't know exists. Then I research the piano buyer. Mr. Alistair Finch. Not a pawn shop owner, as Jin implied, a collector. A man who restores and preserves antique instruments, often loaning them to promising young musicians who can't afford their own. A flicker of hope, a possibility I hadn't dared to entertain, ignites within me. The seeds must be sown carefully. I start with Aunt Carol, Mother's gossipy sister. Auntie, I say during our weekly phone call, my voice laced with carefully crafted concern. I'm a little worried about Jin. He's out so late every night and he seems so stressed. Do you think he's okay? Little whispers, dropped like breadcrumbs, creating a path of concern that will lead directly to Jin when the time is right. At school, I throw myself into my studies, especially music theory. I volunteer for extra credit assignments, stay late to practice on the school's battered uprights. An academic trail, irrefutable proof of my dedication, my stability. Something Mother's narrative of a disturbed child can't easily dismiss. The first strategic countermove comes a week later. Jin, desperate for cash, his poker face crumbling under the weight of his debts, turns his attention to my collection of sheet music. Rare editions, first prints, gifts from my grandfather, worth a small fortune to the right buyer. He doesn't know I've been expecting this. He corners me in my room, his eyes darting around, already calculating its worth. Lou, be a pal. I need to borrow some of your old music, just for a bit. I meet his gaze, my expression one of mild surprise. Oh, Jin, I'm so sorry. I donated all of it to the school music program last week. Miss Evans said they were desperately in need. She was so grateful. His jaw tightens. The frustration, the thwarted greed. It's all there, plain as day. But he can't argue. He can't reveal his true intentions. To the outside world, to Miss Evans, to the school principal, I am Luna, the generous, responsible student, supporting the arts. Jin is just Jin. The golden boy, slightly tarnished, but still in their eyes, an image he must maintain. He forces a smile. Oh, right. Well, that was nice of you, Lou. The first move is mine. The board is set. And this time, I'm not playing their game. I'm writing the score. My 18th birthday. In my first life, it was a muted affair, overshadowed by Jin's escalating misfortunes and my own medicated haze. The small sum of money I'd received from relatives, carefully saved for new music theory textbooks and perhaps a rare concerto score, vanished from my desk drawer. Jin, of course. "You must have misplaced it, Luna," he'd said, his eyes wide with feigned innocence. "You're so forgetful these days." Mother and father had nodded in agreement, their expressions a mixture of pity and exasperation. "Don't upset your brother, dear. He's under so much stress." My protests, weak and slurred by the medication, were dismissed as teenage dramatics, more evidence of my supposed instability. This time, the script plays out with chilling familiarity, but the actors have different motivations. The birthday money arrives. I thank my relatives with genuine warmth, then immediately transfer the funds to my secret account. When Jin, a few days later, rummages through my desk with a fabricated story about needing a spare pen, his frustration is palpable. He finds nothing. "Luna," he says, his voice tight. "Did you see that birthday money Aunt Carol sent you? I thought I saw it on your desk." I look up from my textbook, feigning confusion. "Oh, I spent it already. On those new theory books Miss Evans recommended. You know, for my extra classes." I smile sweetly. "She said I'm making remarkable progress." His eyes narrow. He knows I'm lying about spending it all so quickly, but he can't prove it. And he certainly can't admit he was planning to steal it. He tries another tack a few days later after a particularly bad night at the tables. I know because I saw him slink home at 4 a.m., reeking of stale cigarettes and desperation. "Lou," he says, his voice laced with that manufactured charm he reserves for serious manipulation. "I'm in a bit of a bind. Could you lend me some cash, just until next week? I'll pay you back double, I swear." This is it, the classic Jin maneuver, the empty promise, the appeal to my sisterly compassion. "Oh, Jin, I wish I could," I say, my voice dripping with regret. "But all my savings went into those books, and then there was that school trip deposit." I trail off, letting him fill in the blanks. He glares at me, the mask slipping. "You always have money stashed away somewhere." I feign hurt. "Jin, that's not fair. You know I'm trying to be more responsible with my finances, like you and Mom and Dad are always telling me to be." He storms off, slamming my door. Good, let him stew. Let him believe he's successfully intimidated me, that I'm hiding something, that I'm the one being difficult, because the real move is already in play. The birthday money, the money he thinks I misplaced or selfishly spent, is working for me. I'd found Mr. Harrison online, a private investigator with a discreet reputation and surprisingly reasonable rates for domestic surveillance. His brief, document Jin's gambling, all of it. The locations, the frequency, the amounts, the associates, everything. Mr. Harrison is good. Very good. Within a week, I have a detailed report, complete with photographs and even short audio recordings. Jin, looking smug as he rakes in a pot. Jin, looking desperate as he loses hand after hand. Jin pleading with a burly man in a cheap suit for just one more extension. The loan shark. Ivan the Bear Kozlov. A name I remember from hushed, fearful whispers in my past life. Now for the anonymous tip. A burner phone, purchased with cash. A disguised voice. "Ivan Kozlov? Your client, Jin Park, has been a very naughty boy. Telling everyone he's broke, but his family just sold a valuable antique piano. They live at 12 Cherry Blossom Lane. Perhaps they can help him settle his outstanding accounts." A click, and the line goes dead. I wait. It doesn't take long, and it's a Tuesday evening. We're having dinner. Mother's overcooked pot roast, father's bland commentary on the weather, Jin's sullen silence. The doorbell rings, loud, insistent. Father sighs. "Expecting anyone, dear?" he asks Mother. She frowns. "No, Jin, are you?" Jin pales. No, of course not." The bell rings again, longer this time, followed by a heavy pounding on the door. "I'll get it," I say, rising calmly. As I walk to the door, I discreetly activate the small security cameras I'd installed in the hallway and living room a few days prior. "For a school media project," I'd explained to my parents. "We have to document everyday life." They'd barely registered it. I open the door to reveal two very large, very unfriendly-looking men. Ivan the Bear Kozlov is not with them, but his reputation precedes them. Their cheap suits and expensive, menacing glares are unmistakable. "We're here for Jin Park," one of them grunts, his eyes scanning past me into the house. I I think there's been a mistake," I stammer, playing the frightened teenager. "No mistake, little girl. Jin Park, now." My parents are at my shoulder now, father blustering, mother looking indignant. Jin is hiding behind them, practically trembling. "What is the meaning of this?" father demands. The man smiles, a humorless, chilling expression. "Your son owes our employer a substantial amount of money. We're here to discuss repayment options." The next hour is a blur of threats, veiled and overt, of my parents' dawning horror, and Jin's complete and utter meltdown. The men are professionals. They don't lay a hand on anyone, but the fear they inspire is a weapon in itself. They list Jin's debts, the dates, the amounts. They mention the piano. "A nice down payment," one of them sneers, "but not nearly enough." And then the confession. Cornered, terrified, with nowhere left to hide, Jin breaks. He sobs, he babbles, he admits everything. The gambling, the debts, selling the piano to cover a fraction of what he owed, even stealing my birthday money in the past. Just small amounts here and there, he whimpers, trying to minimize the damage. All captured by my strategically placed cameras. When the loan sharks finally leave with a chilling promise to be in touch regarding a payment plan, the silence in the living room is deafening. Mother stares at Jin, her face a mask of disbelief and betrayal. Her golden boy, her perfect son, revealed as a liar, a thief, a gambling addict. Father just looks old and defeated. I go to Mother, placing a comforting hand on her arm. "Mom, Dad, I'm so shocked," I whisper, my voice laced with sorrow. I had no idea Jin was in so much trouble, that he would lie to us like that. Mother looks at me, her eyes searching. For a moment, I think she sees something, a flicker of the truth. But then, her gaze softens, fills with a weary relief. I am her daughter, the quiet one, the victim of Jin's deceit just like them. The image of her golden boy has crumbled. The foundation of their carefully constructed family dynamic is fractured. And I, Luna, the fragile one, am the picture of innocent, heartbroken solidarity. And the taste of retribution is unexpectedly sweet. It's not the fiery, explosive revenge I'd sometimes fantasized about in the darkest moments of my past life. It's colder, more calculated. A silent, satisfying victory. The fallout from the loan shark's visit is immediate and chaotic. My mother, a woman whose entire identity is wrapped up in the illusion of a perfect family, is unraveling. Her first instinct, as always, is to control the narrative, to salvage Jin's reputation, and by extension, her own. Her methods are chillingly familiar. "Luna, dear," she says a few days later, her voice artificially gentle, her eyes holding that predatory glint I know so well. "Given all this stress with Jin, I think it would be wise for you to have a little chat with Dr. Albright, just to make sure you're coping." Dr. Albright, the same psychiatrist who, in my previous life, had readily diagnosed me with a host of adolescent anxieties and depressive disorders, all based on Mother's carefully curated reports of my erratic behavior and emotional fragility. The same doctor whose prescriptions had dulled my senses and stolen my music. "I'm fine, Mom," I say, keeping my voice even. "Really, it's Jin we should be worried about." "Nonsense, dear. You've always been sensitive. This kind of upset, it can trigger things." She's already reaching for the phone, her fingers hovering over the speed dial for Dr. Albright's office. She's researching residential treatment facilities again. I know it. "A nice, quiet place for you to rest and get better," she'd called it last time as she packed my bags. Jin, meanwhile, is a cornered animal. His gambling debts are now public knowledge within the family, his carefully constructed image shattered. He's desperate, and desperate men do stupid things. He needs a scapegoat, someone to deflect the blame, to restore his tarnished sainthood. And who better than his emotionally unstable younger sister? He tries to frame me for theft. It's almost laughably clumsy. A few pieces of Mother's lesser jewelry, a small amount of cash from Father's wallet, discovered in the back of my desk drawer. He enlists Mother's help, of course. They whisper in hushed tones in the kitchen, believing me to be asleep, or too sedated by my, as yet unprescribed, future medication to notice. "She's not herself, Jin," Mother murmurs. "She could be capable of anything in this state." But I am not in this state. I am acutely aware, every sense heightened. I anticipated this. The moment Mother mentioned Dr. Albright, I knew this would be their next move. Small, easily concealable recording devices, purchased with my secret funds, are already in place. One in the kitchen, one in the living room, even one in Jin's own room. His late-night rants to his gambling buddies are quite illuminating. Their conspiracy, their whispers, their plans, all meticulously documented. And I've been busy outside the home as well. Miss Evans, my music theory teacher, has become a confidant. I've spoken to her about the stress at home, about my parents' concerns for my mental well-being. She, in turn, has spoken to Mr. Henderson, the school counselor. I've had several informal chats with him, discussing my academic goals, my passion for music, my anxieties about Jin's behavior. He sees a bright, articulate, ambitious young woman, not the fragile, unstable creature my mother paints me to be. I'm building a counter-narrative, a wall of credibility that their accusations cannot penetrate. The school's annual talent assembly is next week. In my past life, I was too sick, too broken, to participate. This time, I signed up the moment the announcement was made. Chopin, the Fantaisie Impromptu, a piece that requires precision, passion, and unwavering focus. A piece my mother always said was too ambitious for me. The day of the assembly arrives. Mother tries to dissuade me. "Luna, are you sure you're up to this? With everything that's been going on, perhaps it's best if you sit this one out." Her voice is laced with that cloying, false concern. "I'll be fine, Mom," I say, a small, determined smile on my face. When my name is called, a hush falls over the auditorium. I walk onto the stage, my heart steady, my hands calm. I sit at the grand piano, a magnificent instrument that feels like an extension of my own soul. I take a breath, and then I play. The music pours out of me, notes cascading like a torrent, intricate melodies weaving a tapestry of sound. My fingers, no longer clumsy from medication, dance across the keys with a skill that surprises even myself. This isn't just muscle memory from my past life. This is something more. This is the culmination of years of practice, of passion, of a talent that was almost extinguished. I play with a fire, a fury, a desperate, beautiful joy that I never allowed myself to express before. When the final note fades, there's a moment of stunned silence. Then, the auditorium erupts. Teachers, students, even the usually stoic principal are on their feet, applauding. I see Miss Evans in the front row, tears in her eyes. I glance at my parents. Their faces are a mixture of shock and disbelief. Jin looks small, defeated. My performance has just rendered their narrative of my inability to focus, my emotional instability, utterly absurd to every single person in this room. The climax of their little frame-up arrives a few days later. The police. 2 uniformed officers at our door, looking grim. "We've had a report of theft," one of them says, "from this address." Mother plays the distraught parent perfectly. "Oh, officers, thank goodness you're here. We didn't know what to do. It's our daughter, Luna. She hasn't been herself lately." They want to search my room. I comply willingly, calmly. Of course, they find the stolen items exactly where Jin and Mother planted them. Jin smirks, a fleeting expression of triumph. Mother dabs at her eyes with a handkerchief. "Luna," Officer Ramirez says, his voice stern but not unkind, "can you explain how these items came to be in your possession?" This is my moment. "Officers," I begin, my voice clear and steady, "I believe I can explain everything. Perhaps you'd be interested in listening to a few recordings I've made over the past few weeks. I've been working on a media project for school, documenting family dynamics. The audio quality is surprisingly good." I play the recordings. Jin and Mother whispering in the kitchen, plotting to plant the items. Jin on the phone with a friend, boasting about how he's going to fix his little sister. Mother discussing my need for professional help with Dr. Albright, exaggerating my symptoms, pushing for medication. The officer's expressions change. Sternness gives way to a grim understanding. Then, Mr. Henderson, the school counselor, arrives. He'd been on my emergency contact list. He testifies to my academic excellence, my dedication to music, my stable and rational demeanor. Miss Evans sends a written statement corroborating everything. The tables don't just turn, they flip spectacularly. The investigation shifts. From me, the supposed juvenile delinquent, to Jin and Mother, the conspirators. Child Protective Services is called. Suddenly, our family dynamics are under a much more serious microscope. Jin faces potential criminal charges for fraud, for filing a false police report. Mother is looking at an investigation into emotional abuse and potential medical neglect. They thought they were playing the same old game with the same old rules against the same old broken Luna. They never realized I'd changed the board, rewritten the rules, and become an entirely new player. The unraveling is no longer mine. It is theirs, and it is glorious to behold. The air in the principal's office is thick with a tension I haven't orchestrated, yet it serves my purpose beautifully. My parents sit opposite Principal Davis, their faces a study in strained composure. Jin is conspicuously absent, currently assisting police with their inquiries. A phrase that brings a faint smile to my lips. Mr. and Mrs. Park, Principal Davis begins, his voice grave. We've reviewed Luna's academic record, her music program participation, and the statements from her teachers and counselor. We've also been made aware of certain recordings. He glances at me, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. Respect? Pity? It doesn't matter. Frankly, the situation at home, as Luna has described it, and as these recordings suggest, is deeply concerning. Mother opens her mouth, no doubt to spin another tale of my tragic instability, but Principal Davis holds up a hand. Before you say anything, Mrs. Park, Luna has something she'd like to share with us all. I take a steadying breath. This is it, the unveiling. For the past year, I begin, my voice calm and clear. While supposedly struggling with my studies and my emotional well-being, I've been taking online conservatory preparatory classes. I let that sink in. I've just received confirmation. I've been awarded a full scholarship to the Etheria Conservatory of Music. I pause, savoring the stunned silence from my parents. The scholarship includes tuition, board, and a living stipend. I'll be completely independent. Mother's jaw drops. Father just stares, bewildered. But how? Mother finally stammers. You barely passed your exams last semester. A lie, of course. My grades were excellent, a fact she conveniently ignored. Knowledge from a previous attempt at this path, I say cryptically, enjoying their confusion. And connections. It's amazing what you can achieve when you're not being systematically undermined. I continue, the words flowing like a well-rehearsed concerto. About my piano, Mr. Alastair Finch, the collector who purchased it, I contacted him months ago. He was very understanding when I explained the circumstances of the sale. Another detail I conveniently omitted until now. He allowed me to practice on my piano in his studio several times a week. He's a patron of young talent, you see. He's agreed to formally gift the piano back to me upon my matriculation at Etheria. It's already being shipped to the conservatory. I watch their faces. The dawning realization that this wasn't a series of fortunate coincidences for me, but a carefully orchestrated campaign. Every note, every rest, precisely placed. You planned all this? Father whispers, his voice barely audible. I had a good teacher, I reply, thinking of the pain, the betrayal, the ultimate price I paid in my first life. That was a lesson I'd never forget. And I've had help. This is where my network of allies comes into play. I present the file Mr. Harrison, the PI, compiled, the photos of Jin's gambling, the recordings of his increasingly desperate deals. I share statements from Miss Evans and Mr. Henderson, attesting to my character and talent. I even have a testimony from a reformed gambling addict I'd connected with through an online support group, someone who knew Jin from the tables, who could speak to his manipulations and his escalating desperation. It's a mountain of evidence, meticulously documented, unassailable. But that's not all, I say, turning to Mrs. Rodriguez, a quiet woman who has been sitting patiently in the corner of the office. This is Mrs. Rodriguez. She's a family court advocate. For the past few months, we've been documenting everything: the financial abuse, the emotional manipulation, the attempts to have me falsely medicated and institutionalized. Mrs. Rodriguez nods, opening her own briefcase, revealing stacks of paperwork. We are fully prepared to petition for Luna's emancipation, with the Etheria Conservatory acting as her guardian institution until she turns 18. Given the evidence of a persistently dysfunctional and harmful home environment, we are confident the court will rule in her favor. My parents are speechless. Their faces, once masks of arrogant control, are now pale with shock and dawning fear. And then the final, most delicious twist: the psychological mastery. I look directly at my mother, her eyes wide with a horror that is immensely satisfying. You know, Mother, I say, my voice soft, almost gentle. For months, you and Jin thought you were so clever. You thought I was the same broken, controllable girl. Every little mistake you thought you caught me in, every moment of weakness you exploited. It was all deliberate. I let you see what you wanted to see. I let you believe you were winning. I smile, a slow, chilling smile that mirrors the one she wore as she forced those pills down my throat, all while I was systematically dismantling every bit of power you held over me. You weren't playing me. I was playing you. And I won. The silence in the room is absolute, broken only by my mother's ragged gasp. The golden boy is gone. The perfect family is a ruin. And Luna, the forgotten daughter, the sacrificial lamb, has risen, a phoenix from the ashes of their making, with a symphony of retribution playing her out. The reckoning. It arrives not with a bang, but with the desperate, pathetic whimper of cornered rats. Mother is the first to break. The carefully constructed facade of the concerned, loving parent shatters, revealing the raw, grasping manipulator beneath. Tears stream down her face. Real ones this time, I think, born not of sorrow for me, but of terror for herself. Luna, my baby, my sweet girl, she sobs, reaching for my hand. I pull away just out of reach. You can't do this. We're your family. You need us. Her voice rises, becoming shrill. This conservatory, it's a foolish dream. You're not well, Luna. You need help, proper help, Dr. Albright said. Dr. Albright, I interrupt, my voice dangerously calm, is currently under review by the medical board for his questionable diagnostic practices and overprescription of medication to minors based on an anonymous tip supported by rather compelling evidence. I let my gaze linger on hers. His career might not survive it, just like my musical aspirations almost didn't survive him. Or you. She switches tactics. Threats. If you go through with this, Luna, you'll have nothing. We control your finances, your future. Mrs. Rodriguez clears her throat. Actually, Mrs. Park, Luna's scholarship includes a significant living stipend, managed by the conservatory. And we've already frozen the joint accounts containing Luna's trust fund from her grandmother, the one you've been systematically depleting for Jin's expenses. The courts will be looking into that as well. Mother's face crumples. The financial control, her ultimate weapon, is gone. Now it's Jin's turn. He's brought in from another room, his eyes red-rimmed, his usual swagger completely gone. He looks small, pathetic. He falls to his knees before me, a caricature of remorse. Luna, I'm so sorry, he chokes out, tears, less convincing than Mother's, streaming down his face. I only did those things. The gambling, the money. I was trying to protect you. I raise an eyebrow. This should be good. Protect me? Yes, he insists, clutching at my jeans. The pressure, the music. It was too much for you. I saw how it was breaking you down. I thought if I took some of that pressure off, if I made things a little easier, you wouldn't have to try so hard, wouldn't have to fail. He actually seems to believe his own ludicrous justification. I'll pay you back, Lou. Every cent. I'll get a job. I'll support your dreams now. I see how talented you are. We can be a family again. His performance is almost convincing. Almost. But I know him. I know that even now, as he grovels, his mind is already scheming, looking for another angle, another way to regain control, to sabotage my escape. The anonymous tip about his plan to accidentally damage my sheet music shipment to Etheria, intercepted from one of his recorded calls, is still fresh in my mind. I step back, out of his reach. Jin, I say, my voice devoid of any emotion save a weary finality. Your attempts to protect me involved selling my instrument, stealing my savings, framing me for theft, and conspiring with Mother to have me drugged and institutionalized. Forgive me if I don't find your sudden conversion to supportive brother entirely believable. I turn to face them both, Mother now a sobbing wreck, Jin a sniveling mess on the floor. Principal Davis and Mrs. Rodriguez watch, silent witnesses to this final pathetic act. I have recordings, Jin, I say, my voice flat. Recordings of you telling your friends how you were going to teach your ungrateful sister a lesson. Recordings of you, Mother, coaching Jin on how to make the planted evidence look more convincing. Recordings of you both discussing how much easier life would be if I were properly managed. I play a short snippet. Mother's voice, cold and calculating. Make sure it's under her mattress, dear. That's where they always look. And cry a little when the police question you. It makes you look more credible. Then Jin's. She thinks she's so smart with that damn piano. Wait till she finds out what a real problem looks like. The color drains from their faces. There is no escape from the truth of their own words. You systematically abused me, I state, not as an accusation, but as a simple, undeniable fact. You gaslit me, manipulated me, drugged me, and ultimately you killed the person I was. You did it to protect Jin's ego, to maintain your illusion of a perfect family, to silence a talent you couldn't control or comprehend. They start to beg then, for forgiveness, for one more chance. The same pleas I'd heard in my nightmares, the same ones I'd clung to in my first life, hoping, praying they would change. Please, Luna, Mother wails. We'll get help. We'll go to therapy. We can fix this. We love you, Lou, Jin cries. Don't do this to us. Don't throw your family away. I look at them, really look at them, perhaps for the first time without the fog of medication or the desperate hope of a child. I see them for what they are, small, selfish, destructive people. A chance? I say, my voice quiet, yet it cuts through their hysterics like a scalpel. I gave you a lifetime of chances, 18 years of them, and with every single one you chose to hurt me, to diminish me, to try and break me. I take a breath. My answer is no. It's not a shout, it's not a scream of rage. It's a calm, definitive, irrevocable refusal. It's the sound of a door closing, a chapter ending, a life reclaimed. It's backed by the full weight of the law, by the truth I've so painstakingly assembled. The final justice is swift and clinical. Jin faces criminal charges for fraud, theft, and filing a false police report. His college acceptance is rescinded. He becomes a pariah in our small community, the golden boy tarnished beyond repair. Mother loses custody of me, a formality at this point. She faces a CPS investigation for medical abuse and financial malfeasance. Both are served with restraining orders, legally prohibiting them from contacting me in any way. I walk out of that office with Mrs. Rodriguez, leaving the wreckage of my former family behind. I don't look back. My belongings, including my precious sheet music and my grandfather's few mementos, are already packed, already en route to Etheria. My piano awaits. I am free, not just legally, but truly, deeply free. The symphony of my new life is about to begin. And this time, I am the composer, the conductor, and the lead performer. The lights of the recital hall at Etheria are warm, inviting. Not the harsh, interrogative glare of hospital rooms or police stations. The murmur of the audience is a soft hum of anticipation, not the hushed whispers of gossip and judgment. And on the stage, gleaming under the spotlight, is my piano. My beautiful, restored Bechstein, its polished surface reflecting not a broken girl, but a woman who knows the intricate melodies of survival. My fingers, steady and sure, find the familiar keys. Tonight, it's Bach, the Chaconne in D minor, arranged for piano by Busoni. A piece of immense depth, of sorrow, of resilience, of ultimate transcendent triumph. It feels appropriate. As I play, I see them in the audience. Miss Evans, her eyes shining with pride. Mr. Henderson, a supportive smile on his face. Mrs. Rodriguez, nodding almost imperceptibly to the rhythm. Mr. Alastair Finch, the kind collector who believed in a desperate girl's story and returned her soul to her. My chosen family. The ones who saw my true worth when my own blood could not. The music flows, a torrent of emotion and technique. It's not just notes, it's my story. The pain, the betrayal, the descent into darkness, the flicker of an impossible hope, the meticulous planning, the slow, steady climb back into the light. It's all there, woven into the intricate counterpoint, the soaring arpeggios, the thunderous chords. This isn't just a performance. It's a declaration. I am here. I am whole. I am playing my truth. Later, in my small apartment near the conservatory, the scent of fresh freesias, a gift from Miss Evans, perfumes the air. The walls are lined with bookshelves groaning under the weight of scores, theory texts, and novels. Photos of new friends, fellow musicians, laughing faces from late-night practice sessions and early morning coffee runs are tacked to a corkboard. The sounds from nearby practice rooms, a mournful cello, a lilting flute, a hesitant violin, create a symphony of shared dreams, of possibility. It's a world away from the lavender-scented suffocation of my childhood bedroom. This is freedom. Occasionally, news filters through, unwanted but inevitable. Jin, I hear, is working a string of dead-end minimum-wage jobs, his charm useless, his prospects bleak. The loan sharks, apparently, have long memories and little patience. Mother lives alone in that big, empty house, her manipulations ineffective on a world that now knows her history. They are footnotes now, faded ink in the margins of my story. Their power over me is ash. I open my journal, the leather is smooth beneath my fingers. The girl I was died at 18, I write. The woman I am was reborn at 15. Some symphonies require a complete rewrite, a radical reorchestration. The original score was a dirge. This one is a concerto of defiance, a fugue of resilience, a sonata of hope. I sketch out a few bars of a new composition, a melody that has been haunting my dreams, full of complex harmonies and unexpected resolutions. I have so much music left to make. The final scene of this act, perhaps the prelude to an even grander composition, finds me not on a concert stage, but in a brightly lit community center classroom. A group of eager children, their faces shining with curiosity, surround an old, slightly battered upright piano. I'm teaching them, showing them the magic that lies within those black and white keys. One little girl, Maya, with eyes too old for her 7 years, reminds me of myself. Trapped, perhaps, by circumstances, by expectations, by a world that doesn't yet see her brilliance. My hands rest gently on hers as she hesitantly picks out a simple tune. That's it, Maya, I say, my voice soft. Feel the music. Let it tell your story. My hands on the piano keys. They represent so much more than just musical mastery now. They represent the power to reclaim a stolen life, to rewrite a tragic ending, to compose a future filled with courage, intelligence, and the strategic, patient unfolding of a destiny entirely of my own making. The music this time will soar,